viewers, and welcome back to the South Main Auto Channel. We got us a relic on the lift today. 1986 GMC Jimmy S15 two-wheel peeler. Needs an idler arm and a center link. Oh, we'll get started. I got my helper Hannah back. You can't even see my face. Got her back for the summer. This hand we are going to need an 18mm short 3/8 drive and 18mm wrench. So we're going to start by pulling the center link off, or the idler arm, as we like to call it, the idler arm here, which is connected to the center link. So this idler arm is pretty well wasted. It appears to be original even. So we're going to take that off. Not going to worry about unhooking it from the center link because the whole thing's going into scrap. But the bolts go through the frame. Going to give it the classic reach around and buzz that off. So with these, even though you're just changing, a center link and an idler arm, you still have to go down to the very least and have the toe set, because when you change this idler arm, let's assume it was exactly the same, or even loosen this up. Sometimes these bolt holes have play in them, and if you change the height of the center link, your toe's either going to toe in or toe out depending on the height that you set it. So if you ever loosen these up, you have to go have the alignment rechecked. That's a free tip for you. Just kind of try to keep them bolts in the frame, keep them from falling out if you can. Try not to lose your socket in the frame. It has a little dip there, and it's always gravity will take over. You'll be fishing for your socket. So like I say, they do have a fair amount of movement. Depending on where you tighten it down, you can drastically change the toe in it. You can see just the wheel moving just by changing the height of that center link. So keep that in mind. These ones aren't as slotted as I've seen in the past. But let's see, I don't know if you can see it's too hard to see the play in it without it being all hooked up. So now we're going to unbolt the tie rod ends from the center link and then unhook it off the pitman arm. We just happen to have the right socket. Take them off. They're just look like lock nuts. Stuck in my socket now. We're going to need a big nasty with a hammer bit. There, Miss Hannah. I was trying to get Hannah to do the job now that she's a superstar and did her own brake job.
I said I would.
Yeah, I know. We needed to get it done today though. And then we're just going to take the same lock nut up here on the pitman arm. Get that little guy loose. This one you're going to have to wrench all the way off. Amish style.
Amish style?
Yeah, with a wrench. We call it Amish style. Oh, I got to get a ratchet wrench. This whole mechanical stuff's not cut for me. Look at that. So this side, you could actually use a pickle fork on and take it off because you don't worry about damaging the joint. Now on the tie rod ends, we're going to try to avoid damaging them. So what we can do is use big nasty, rattle the center link, see if they vibrate loose. Or better yet, I guess, in this style here, we could actually use our OTC front end service set. Out on the yellow shelf out there, there's a gray box. It should say OTC front end service set on it. Pop that off. We're going to leave it up on there for the time being. Just that way there it holds the link up for us and we can pop them little guys out. We're going to need a 5/8 short black socket, so we're going to use this actual. So you've seen me use this tool a lot in the hub tamer kit. This is actually what it's intended for here. In that kit, we use it to pull bearing races. We'll stick it behind there. Make that a 5/8 deep. And then we'll just give it a little push. I guess we're not gonna need Big Nasty now.
Gotta have Big Nasty.
We'll put the little guy back on the shelf. Let him rest for today. Whoa! Oh man, I think I peed a little. You get that? Set the tip flying, there we go. So the tip fell out of the tool, but they got a little detent on it. The old one didn't have the detent. It's that little snap ring. There we go. It's gonna make a loud noise, Hannah. Cover your eyes and your ears. Ooh, not bad, not bad. That's helpful. All right, now we'll get the pickle fork. Get the skinnier one there, skinny. Up one drawer.
I was close.
You were close. Close only counts in hand grenades and horseshoes. Yep, that's it. We're gonna need the BFH. Why do they call it a pickle fork?
Because you get your pickles with it.
I don't know. I've never even ate a pickle with a.
Have you ever seen a pickle fork?
No? Really? They have a pickle fork?
Yes.
Really? Are you being silly?
No, I'm not.
Oh. I just reach in the jar like any normal person would. So there's that. There's our center link and idler arm assembly.
A pickle fork.
You're correct, Hannah, and now I see the resemblance. Do you have a pickle fork at home?
I don't think so.
You just use a plain old fork or
Fork
these
for
right
your
here?
fingers.
Exactly. I don't even know if my grandma has a pickle fork. I mean, that's like, you know, when you go to the restaurant, you got like 7 forks and 3 spoons and all that stuff. I always feel like an idiot. You don't know which one to use and when to use it, how to use it, and 3 butter knives. And
Here you go. This is your pickle fork.
that's kind of funny. We won't show it because that's inappropriate, Hannah. All right, so we have the new idler arm here. We will take and just set that up here. Let me get these nuts. Where are they? There they are. So this is where you gotta try to do it without knocking the bolts back through. Sometimes you can get lucky. You can just hold them from the inside also if you wanted to. Whoa, fella. Give me a pocket screwdriver. That one hanging up there. There we go. Once you get them through, then just put some side load on it. And that'll pinch them down for you. Like so. Get the torque wrench. Uh-oh. What did I? This came with a couple little plastic bushings. Are they the wrong size bolt holes? They must be bushings for different size bolts. Read the directions, Hannah. See if there's anything in there about these plastic bushings. Meanwhile, I'm gonna open them up.
Should we read in English, French, or Spanish?
Whatever. They do not fit over these bolts, so they must be spacers.
A new center link stud nut is supplied with the new idler arm.
Get to the bushing part, Hannah. Little plastic. They got a picture. I do pictures. I'm gonna do words. I'm gonna assume it doesn't need them.
The following models have 7/16 frame mounting bolts,
Yep.
which require the use of 2 synthetic spacers.
Oh, okay. Well, these are not 7/16.
Nope,
Okay.
it's not on the list.
And it's not on the list of vehicles?
No.
It actually gives a list?
Yeah.
All right.
1977.
Ooh, the 77 has a good year. I wasn't even a twinkle in my daddy's eye in 77.
Me.
All right. So you can see how much movement that has. really doesn't matter where you put it. Click. Is that what you said in your video, Hannah?
Yep. It's 50 to 60 foot-pounds.
Yes, that is. Actually, I had it set on number 3, and with that amount of Ugga-Duggas, that is 50 to 60 foot-pounds. All right. This is interesting. They sent a lock nut and a cotter pin. We got a 5/16 wrench. Put the grease fitting back in, or in, I guess, not back in. I think it's 5/16.
That's a hand size wrench.
Oh, mini one. All right, there's that. That box we just dig out. Oh, made in America. You don't see that too often. America, going on this little Chevrolet GMC, I guess. Oh, you wanna grab that? Here's our new link. Want to make sure we put that on the right way. They come with little foamies. So we have our little foam washers. They're going to sit on top. One there, and there's one there. And we're going to set her back in here. Now I do believe that we're going to have to get our tie rod end started into it first. Sometimes you don't have enough clearance with the wheels in a straight position. There's that side. You can do it. There's that side, got a castle nut. This side takes a castle nut.
Why do these nuts have like a triangle engraved in them?
Where's that? So Hannah wants to know why these nuts have a, I don't know if you guys can see it, the little triangles in it. So that is where they deform the nut and create it into a lock nut. So essentially it just deforms the threads. That way when you jam it on, it locks it down. Good question, Hannah. Surprised you didn't know the answer to it though.
I do now.
You do now. We get any grease fittings?
Yep.
2? So we'll stick our grease fittings in. Customers, people. You guys can't even see what's going on over there. Hey, it's that guy. 5/16. Oh, it's our 10 o'clock.
Just put it up in the air.
Well, that's okay. I've already looked at that car. We just got to pull it in.
Oh, that's just in.
Yep. That grease fitting in. Get the other one. Yeah, I told Josh not to worry about it. Just bring that first car in. When she gets out and gets settled or whatever, we pull that in. It's probably going to be one of the few cars you get in, Hannah, where you actually have to move the seat back.
There's always first.
Yeah. Tighten out the castle nut. Factory spec, of course. Let's make sure our tie rods aren't jammed up. Did it come with new lock nuts? Oh, it did, yeah, you already showed them to me. So the important thing to remember on these, the ones with the triangles on it, is put the triangles out. That way there, you get it started, it'll get right to that deformation, and it's going to stop. There's that. I'm going to finish tightening up the castle nuts before I forget, and we have to move on. My 10 o'clock appointment just showed up. I think we're good. New cotter pin. Stuff that little guy through there. Trim the ear off that in a minute. Where's the hole? There it is. A little bit more. There we go. Got it on that one. Alright, get some schnippers. Wings on that one zinging. Where's that one? On that one zinging. Let's see. These 18. Look at that, man. We got one right there. Here comes Vinny. That one. All right, torque to spec. That's just about that, folks. 10 o'clock. Appointment is done. Just had another one roll in. I'm gonna hose these adjuster sleeves down. Will you grab the grease gun here? If there's any grease in it. Usually never is. Not when Josh is around.
Oh, go seal this?
That's what I usually do. I think it's why I'm always empty. And I think that's it, folks. We got to get motoring. I just had another job rolling I got to look at for a guy. Now, I'm not going to take and bother, loosening these up and getting these moving now. I've done enough alignments. This style adjuster sleeve always moves. I've got a special tool that hooks on them that kind of spreads them open and rotates them. So I'll just leave it for the time being. Now, I've seen some of these where I go to do the alignment and let's say the total toe is off just a little bit. Steering wheel straight, total toe is off. They're equally towed in on both sides. Sometimes in that case, I'll just re-loosen my idler arm, move my center link. I know it will, toe in or toe out depending on how I move it, tighten it down, and then, you never touch the sleeve. So, free tip for you. There you have it, folks. Center link idler arm on your two-wheel drive 1986 Chevrolet GMC S10 S15 Jimmy. Piece of cake to do. Definitely make sure you get it lined up. If your adjuster sleeves are way snottier than the ones are on this one, get them loosened up for the guy at the alignment shop before you take it down, and buy him a box of donuts and a cup of coffee. He'll appreciate it. Trust me. We can be bought with goodness. And that's it, folks. Got to keep moving. Hopefully you learned a little something here. Pretty easy job back in the day when you could fix a truck with, essentially we had one wrench and one socket. Imagine that. And one big hammer. That's all you ever needed. Socials, you know where to find us. Patreon. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.